Welcome. This is the Lo-Down.
You ready for the Lo-Down? It must be 12 o'clock. My station's on live. Take your positions. Time for D-Lo. J-Ross and I, and we'll play your favorite.
The Lo-Down. Damian Barling and Jason Ross.
Soon at 3 o'clock, you know they hot just from the intro. This the Lo-Down.
The Lo-Down.
We made it to a Friday. Welcome into the March 8th edition of the Lo-Down. I am Damian Barling, along with the best there is, the best there was, and the best that there ever will be. The king of the live stream, Jason Herbert Walker Ross. Of course, the champ, Christopher Lott, is with us as well, as is the recently dubbed queen of the live stream, Codi Baylor, is here. We are live across the world on the KHTK app. We are live in Northern California on 1140 a.m., and you can watch us anywhere on the face of the planet over on KHTK.com. You can see Jason's very handsome mug right there in front of you on the camera. So go check us out. As we mentioned yesterday and as we've said all week, you made the first episode of the Lo-Down Live a massive, massive success. For that, we are so grateful. And here we are in hopes of making the second episode and every episode moving forward another huge success. So thank you for joining us. Regardless of the platform you are on, we greatly appreciate it. We have plenty to talk about today, despite the fact the Sacramento Kings did not play last night. And the Sacramento Kings do not play tonight. Many of you will be waking up tomorrow morning to Sacramento Kings basketball. And some of you, God bless each and every one of you, will actually sleep through it. They play tomorrow at 9 a.m., 12 o'clock in New York. They'll take on the New York Knicks. We'll spend some time talking about that. Only a couple of games on the docket last night. Bucks continue to be great, as does Russell Westbrook, who had a fantastic game along with Paul George. We'll get to all of that NFL stuff. How about Antonio Brown? Some of you may have gone to bed with thinking Antonio Brown was now a member of the Buffalo Bills. I think NFL Twitter was born last night because we always talk about NBA Twitter,
which they dominate.
NBA Twitter is fire.
Yeah.
Last night, Antonio Brown to the Buffalo Bills may have been the birth of NFL Twitter.
Where did that come from?
NBA Twitter?
No. The Bills. Was that talk at all?
What?
I love it.
I told you.
Loved it.
It was wrap up.
Do you think that's going to scare him? Be like, nah, Pittsburgh, actually, I'm going to stay here.
I think it already scared him.
What does he have more say than we knew about? Did he veto this? Did he just like, nah, I'm not going? Because he said the other day, I don't need football.
Right.
Do you? Is there any possibility, and no one will cop to this, is there any possibility that Antonio Brown was like, nah, dude, I'm not going to Buffalo. I'll just quit.
Yeah, I'm sure he was, because everything that was talked about before, right, was, oh, Jerry Rice and the 49ers would love to have him there, and the Raiders, maybe John Gruden's interested in some storied franchises, and then Buffalo. And he doesn't seem to be too interested. But Pittsburgh doesn't have to choose. They look for the best deal.
Mm-hmm.
Unless, hey, and before, if anyone wants to get on Antonio Brown, and we don't know this, but if Antonio Brown did shut this down and say that he's not playing and you're like outraged by that, I sure hope you were when Rob Gronkowski did the same exact thing last year when he was going to be traded to the Detroit Lions, and he said, oh, no, I'll just retire.
Right.
If I'm not playing with Tom Brady, I'm going to retire. Again, we don't know that. This is a self-imposed deadline, by the way. There are no financial repercussions for waking up tomorrow and watching Kings basketball, and Antonio Brown's still a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Yeah, they deemed this Antonio Brown Friday.
Right.
No one else did.
This was a great point that you brought up. I think, was it yesterday? This is similar to Urban Meyer Day.
Right. Self-imposed deadline.
like, why are you guys doing this to yourselves?
It's okay if he's a Steeler next Tuesday.
Yeah, it doesn't cost you a thing.
Right.
It doesn't cost you a thing. I think it's for 8 or 9 more days. And then at that, it's $2.5 million. Why is the NFL so cheap? They're the richest sports league in the entire country, but for some reason, oh my gosh, $2.5 million, we can't spend that on Antonio Brown.
Well, the easy answer is someone's got to pay for those massages.
Do you think Antonio Brown will be figured out before the Raiders figure out where they're staying? What was it, a 95%?
Yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah.
Like, will the Raiders sign Antonio Brown but still not know where they're playing?
Yeah, some version. Antonio Brown is going to play for some version of the Raiders. We just
Oakland?
don't
Question
know.
mark?
Where will that press conference be?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably under the Las Vegas sign where the draft party was.
Of course.
Okay, Antonio, you're going to the Oakland Raiders, but they're moving to Buffalo. So
So take that.
They're going to share a stadium with the was it Ralph Wilson Stadium?
Yeah.
That's nice. I don't understand why teams do this. It makes no sense to put these deadlines. I assume you're doing it because you're okay, guys. Hey, get your offers in by Friday because we're gonna make our decision. Like, does anybody believe that they're sitting down with? Okay, guys. Here's the offer from the Raiders.
It came in the mail.
Like it was faxed. Hey guys, here's the offer from the San Francisco 49ers. Oh, hold on.
Something else is coming in.
The Buffalo Bills are on the phone.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Can you believe it? Washington is the team that's got itself together right now.
Seemingly.
Yeah.
And maybe the Steelers
Traded for a fantastic quarterback yesterday.
Maybe the Steelers have my version of the mailbag where they literally get lettered offers.
Yeah.
Like no phone calls, no emails, no text, just letters to this is our proposed offer for Antonio Brown. So they're waiting for all the mail to come in.
Mailbag.
Mailbag.
Better come in by today.
Yeah,
That's right.
That's right. We've got and for those who think the mailbag is a joke, we're serious.
Yeah.
We get letters. We have letters. Jason gets letters. They're over here. You can see them. We're gonna answer all of your questions.
And the stamp was sent, not the extra envelope, but that's okay.
And because
The stamp was inside the envelope?
Yeah, an extra.
we tell you to
An
send a
extra
self-addressed stamped envelope, and if you're lucky, you'll either get a written reply from Jason Ross or a picture of the champ.
Yeah.
Signed 8 by 10.
Signed 8 by 10.
He charges though, so I thought
It comes with an invoice.
right. The return letter from me was probably easier, but
Yeah.
if you're interested in the champ, it just would cost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all right. Hey.
That's why we've been low on letters, huh?
That's why we've been low on stamps.
Just
True.
No one is sending that self-addressed stamped envelope. Speaking of, you brought Tony Kornheiser on Pardon the Interruption. Tony Kornheiser is an old crotchety man. Admittedly, that is just who he is.
Yeah.
He does not email or text. Or you know how you have to get a hold of him?
How?
You leave him a voicemail at his office, and he will return your call. If you want to if you want Tony Kornheiser to be a guest on your show, you have to leave him a voicemail message, and he has a little notepad next to his phone in which he'll write the messages down with the phone numbers, and if he wants to call you back, he'll call you back.
Hey, it's his system.
I
It
like
works
that.
for him.
It's organized.
Yeah. I bet he's very reliable too.
When you're booking guests now, it's always almost text. But way back in the day, I had to call someone to try and get someone on the show. And so I called and I messed up. You know, when you're leaving a voicemail, I got to redo it. So I pressed a button to restart it. So I was just like, hey, can you come on? And I hit it. And there wasn't a thing that says to record again. And so then I press it again. And then I press it one more time. And then I just said, okay, you can give us a call back. And then I left the number. Didn't get a call back.
I wonder why.
Weird.
You should have just ended. You know what, dude? Screw it. Don't even. It's all right. I get it. I know I botched this. We'll try again when hopefully you forget about this message. But today is the self-imposed Antonio Brown day. So if Antonio Brown is traded, like we thought he was last night to the Buffalo Bills, we'll bring it to you. But NBA Twitter was fun last night. The memes, the videos. You know what the new meme is? The new hot meme? R. Kelly.
Do you see the...
Oh.
R. Kelly with Gayle
Gayle?
King. Oh yeah, that is the one making the rounds.
That's what I was thinking of.
Oh yeah, that one is making the rounds. It's good stuff. So any update on Antonio Brown? We'll bring it to you. We were texting about this earlier. I feel like it's going to be some like Buffalo. We didn't hear Buffalo.
Not at all.
We heard Washington, and then we heard Tennessee was a part of it, and then they're out. We've heard Oakland a lot, which leads me to believe it's not Oakland. Is this just going to be, and then of course San Francisco because of Jerry Rice and all of the various teammates? Is it just going to be some is it Tampa Bay?
Well, how about the team you told me earlier? That was a great before the show. Do you remember that?
Yes.
How great of a fit would that be for a playoff team this last year that has available money?
Colts. Hey,
That's it.
is that why?
That's it.
Isn't that
The
great?
Colts. They have.
Colts have the most cap space.
They have $105.8 million to spend this year.
Off a team that's built lately, the last couple of years off building their offensive and defensive line. They already had Luck. Now he's back into form. You have T.Y. Hilton if
The
you
Colts
add
would
Brown.
be perfect.
Yes. A good team.
And it's a good team for him if he wanted a chance back at the playoffs.
What would Andrew Luck think of the trade?
He'd think it's fun and exciting.
Yeah.
He would absolutely think it's fun and exciting. I do have a question.
He'd
though.
have to mind his P's and Q's.
He would.
Yeah.
Is his arm fully back? Like, can
Yeah,
he
it's there.
throw the ball
Still
down?
on.
He throw the, yes, his arm is attached.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Maybe I should rephrase the question. Can he throw the ball far?
I would
Because
say
Antonio
yes.
Brown can create separation.
He can. T.Y. Hilton as well. He did just fine.
Okay.
He had a good season.
He did. Mm-hmm. Man, you have Antonio Brown and T.Y. Hilton as the two guys you get to choose to throw to. This feels like when Codi sent me the cap number that the Colts have, this feels like a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Do it. Like now.
Right.
Like right now.
It's just then, do some teams have reservations? That's
About
the question.
What?
Him, personality? I don't. That would be my question. I mean, why wouldn't every team want him? Well, I don't think every team does, but it doesn't. Again, it doesn't. I think there's a few that do, though. Mm-hmm. He's gonna land somewhere, but you're also trading for him, right? I mean, is that your best? Is that the best idea? I think he makes your team better.
I mean, there's talks of swapping first-round picks. There's talks of it's not locked in that it has to be a first-round pick. Maybe it could be a combination of like a 2 and a 5 or something. He's obviously a significantly higher caliber player than Case Keenum is. But what was Keenum yesterday? A 6?
6 for the 7.
6 and a 7.
Yeah. Okay. So, like
they're not all Joe Flacco.
Yeah, they're all better than Joe Flacco.
We're trying to get you to blow up on the live stream.
On the stream, yeah. The first when Joe Flacco was acquired by the Denver Broncos, that would have been a hell of a live stream episode.
Texter also suggests Le'Veon Bell joining him in Indy.
Oh my gosh,
Jeez.
Absolutely.
Then all of a sudden,
Indian and
hello Colts.
Yeah,
I
think it's already hello Colts.
You're right. I think they're going to be very, very dangerous next year for a few years.
Because right now, are they the best team in the South?
Yeah,
Colts, Texans, Jags.
Right. And they've all been in the playoffs the last 2 seasons.
Who am I leaving out?
Texans,
Colts, Texans, Jaguars,
Titans.
Oh, and the Titans.
Yeah.
Remember the Titans.
Thank you, Chris. It was just teed it up for you. Thank you very much. I like that. And now you're competing with, in terms of offensive firepower, Deshaun Watson and Hopkins, and
sure,
I'm a little higher, I think, on Lamar Miller than some are, but still.
Yeah. But that's a division that you had a great finish to last year. You faced the Texans in the playoffs and just dismantled them in that first playoff game. And then, ran into the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, but that's okay. I mean, that they're now kind of starting to jump into that class, I think, of the top of the AFC, and especially if they add more people.
Give me Kansas City versus Indianapolis in the AFC Championship. I'll take that.
Okay.
with AB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
Tom Brady would then think his team sucks.
He would, and
Yeah.
then they'd find some way to get back in the
Right.
playoff. Well, they already think that.
Yeah.
And now they're already going to be like defending the honor of Robert Kraft or something this year or whatever because they've been wrong this offseason.
Is there some big free agents that they're waiting for that cap space? Like,
Yeah, what happens? That's a great question. What happens with cap money in football if you don't spend it? Because in basketball, there's a floor. And it goes if you don't get to the floor, it gets dispersed amongst the players.
Yeah, I think you have to get to the floor, right?
In
basketball.
Well, if you don't get to the floor, it goes to the players. Like, I don't think you have to. The money goes to the players if you don't get to the floor, doesn't it?
Well, I mean, there's the floor and then there's the actual cap line. But are you talking about that line? Because I think the floor.
Are there two floors?
No, I just think there's a minimum, let's say, that you have to get to.
Is the ground the floor? Is this similar to the ceiling as the
ground
roof?
is the floor.
Yes.
Ceiling is the roof.
Thank you.
Yeah. See, now we got it. But the Kings were in that spot a few years ago, like at the end with the Maloofs when they were just gouging the team.
Right.
They had to add something. I can't remember what at the end, and someone on the text line will know. But yeah, they were very close to that floor.
But isn't there okay? I feel like there's something in the NBA where if you don't get to a certain number, that the money just goes to the players that you already have.
Okay.
But maybe I've been known to make stuff up. Maybe I'm just making that up. But in the NFL, again, the Colts have $100 million. What are you going to do with it? I mean, there aren't that many. You brought up Le'Veon Bell already,
Right.
and Antonio Brown. if you got Le'Veon Bell and you paid him top dollar, you made him the richest running back in the NFL, and you acquired Antonio Brown, you would still have roughly $60 million of cap space.
It's a pretty good offseason, too.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Man, but we
and
also
the draft coming up.
right, which by the way takes up a minimal amount of cap space. Like Oakland has right now, top 51 cap space, $60 million. But they have those 3 first-round picks aren't going to cost them much.
Right.
So they're going to still have a ton of money by the time the draft is over.
Money for Khalil Mack. No?
No, he got his.
He gone.
Amari Cooper.
Oh.
He gone, too. Yeah.
It'd be great if they traded a first-round pick for Antonio Brown.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it'd be great. They traded a first-round pick for Antonio Brown because Antonio is better. This isn't a Cooper versus Brown question, but Amari Cooper is so much younger.
Yeah.
Like he's like 6 years younger, 7 years younger.
Yeah, because he's 24.
24, right?
Yeah.
And Antonio Brown's 31.
Yeah. And I think everything about the Raiders feels like the right fit for Brown, except for Gruden.
Yeah.
Like Gruden's the one that doesn't
But
seem like one he would.
Gruden did say that he was the hardest working player he's ever seen out of practice.
I think okay, so that's
But
another good
Gruden
point.
also doesn't take any crap. Probably can't say the other word. Doesn't take any crap in locker rooms. So
Is Antonio Brown the White Tiger?
No.
Yeah.
No, Antonio Brown is
He's always out.
Yeah, no,
always there.
he's there. He plays. But Gruden, we know one of the things Gruden is famous for is his work ethic. Mm-hmm. So if he might be able to see past the personality of Antonio Brown and buy into the work ethic. Like what is more important to John Gruden, the work ethic or the personality?
And if Antonio Brown respects Gruden, that could be a different story. It obviously seems like he didn't respect anyone on the Steelers.
No, I don't think that's true. I just think he didn't respect Ben Roethlisberger anymore.
A really important piece. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's the whole roster, but
Not the whole roster.
But the franchise, one of the franchise pieces, and he felt he was one, and he was. So did Le'Veon Bell. But they chose not to keep Bell. Brown now is choosing his own path, and Ben's not going anywhere.
What would it take for us, and I don't mean us in this room, I mean collectively, what would it take for people to start looking at Ben Roethlisberger differently?
I think it's starting to happen, but not in the masses.
It doesn't
Not
feel
enough.
like it, man. Like
Brown is helping that or hurting it, depending on how you look at it.
the best wide receiver in the NFL wanted off your team. The best running back in the NFL wanted off your team. The wide receiver pointed directly at your quarterback, and no one is blinking an eye at this. It's Antonio Brown that has an issue. It's Le'Veon Bell that has an issue. There are few people like me who are looking at like, how come no one sees Ben Roethlisberger as the problem?
Is Bell though did he say that he had a problem with Ben, or was that he didn't get the contract?
Well, no. That's
why.
why I said that Antonio Brown pointed directly at Ben Roethlisberger
sure.
and said it was a problem. I don't know that Le'Veon Bell did.
Right.
I don't think that he did, and if he did, he certainly didn't do it publicly. His issue was certainly about money. But if your quarterback is a better leader, aren't you for? Because you're still getting $14 million this year. Aren't you foregoing that for your leader? Maybe you don't want to fight for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but you want to fight for Antonio Brown or for Ben Roethlisberger. Like I might not want to fight for KHDK, but I'll fight for Jason Ross. Right? That's how I look at it. I don't feel like anybody wants to step up for Ben Roethlisberger. I'll fight for Cody Baylor too and Chris Rod. Everybody else can kiss my butt, but those guys I'll fight for. No one's standing up and saying that about Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah.
They're
Except
just
for
pointing
Antonio
fingers
Brown.
at the other two guys. They're saying, Antonio Brown's got this issue. He's got that issue. Le'Veon Bell's got this issue. He's selfish. All he wants is money. No.
Well, remember during the Le'Veon Bell holdout, Ben Roethlisberger said he was texting him and wasn't getting any response from him. So, I mean, that's the closest we got to him having a problem.
That's true. I do recall that. If you want to get in here on these phone lines, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. Of course, that is the Fire Wings hotline. You could try one of their delicious 21 flavors of wings today. Fire Wings, just wing it. Chris, what's happening, man?
Hey, what's going on, guys? So I just kind of wanted to touch on this Antonio Brown topic. I think the problem is a lot of people are trying to figure out right now he's really just a product of his situation. He did good because of Ben. He's kind of like Russell Westbrook right now. He's only good because of, George. Just kind of overrated, pads their stats. They're just okay players, both of them.
Is this dude troll? Is he serious? Chris, stop it. Look, he's laughing. Chris, stop it. Stop it, Chris.
I literally called just to see if I could get a rise on you on the live stream.
Stop
I don't
it.
believe any of that, man.
Hey, do we have something in the prize book that we could give Chris? Chris, hang on. That's funny. You're going to the Vans Warped Tour,
Nice.
Chris. That's
Well done.
funny. Nice job. Well done. Well done, Chris. Jerk. Jeff, what's happening, man?
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing?
Great.
Hey, I had a quick question, and I'll take the answer off the air. When it comes to like top quarterbacks in the league, where do you put Case Keenum above Flacco, or you think Flacco's better than Case Keenum?
Great.
Jay Ross, I'd like your opinion too.
Great question. Yeah. I'll give my comment off the air as well.
These are the two best. These are the two best calls ever.
Flacco's higher.
Stop it.
Cody, Flacco or Keenum? I know Damien's opinion. He agrees with me on Flacco.
Stop it. Don't spread lies. Do not spread lies because someone will take
I'm
that
gonna go
as
Flacco. It's just the Case Keenum like Vikings is just so recent, you know.
Yeah, he was great.
But Flacco, I'm sorry.
That
I'm
is-
sorry.
No, she has the answer key. That is the correct answer.
Can everybody on the live
Wait,
stream
wait.
see my heartbreak? Like right here on the air. It's just your
I love
quarterback.
Case Keenum. He's not my quarterback anymore.
He was your
He's
quarterback.
not my quarterback anymore, and I
What
respect
was the last
everything
quarterback-
he's done for us. But did we make it to the Super Bowl?
What was the last
No.
quarterback that took you to the playoffs? It wasn't the guy that you gave $80 million to. It was Case Keenum. I can't.
Hey,
Although just let me everybody. Let's just take a break while I pick up the broken pieces of my heart off the floor. Chris, can you weigh in on this, please? When you're done. I don't even think you gave an opinion yesterday.
He said Flacco.
I don't think that he did. Keenum
What
or
was
who's better, Keenum or Flacco?
I think they're pretty even, but 2 years ago when I had to decide between Drew Brees and Joe Flacco, I chose Joe Flacco. On that day, he was better than Drew Brees and brought me the fantasy football championship
God, I
title.
didn't even see it coming.
So I have to go with Flacco.
on this day.
Cheers. Cheers to
Cheers.
Joe.
And the world was never the same after that move. I can't believe I set myself up for that. I completely forgot that he played Flacco the last week, and that's how all of this started. Was Joe Flacco?
How could
There's
you forget?
reason, and that's reason enough to dislike Joe Flacco.
No, that's
I dropped Drew Brees in the championship game for Joe Flacco.
and that's the mind of a genius right there. Figuring out ways to make a fantasy football title come true. And it was Joe Flacco.
So is John Elway perhaps a genius because he dropped Case Keenum and is
Going to get a quarterback in the draft.
Maybe. He's got his quarterback. It's Joe Flacco. This will play out nicely. We'll see. We'll see how he looks in Denver.
how old is it'll play out nicely?
Yeah.
Is this a live stream bet right now? What is nicely? Define what played out nicely means for Joe Flacco and the Denver Broncos.
I don't want to make a bet because I know how that goes on this show.
No, I don't. No, that's
Tuna
this
fish
is
and peanut butter.
This is the live stream, man.
Denver. I have to wait for the whole season to.
You
the
just said
offseason.
it's going to work out nicely.
Yeah.
Nicer
okay.
than last year.
Better. Yeah, better than
6
Case
and 10.
Keenum.
Weren't they 6 and?
I think they won one game.
And it's not true. They
They
did
were
not
6
win
and
one
10 or
game.
something like that.
Really?
How old is Joe? Joe Flacco is 34 years old.
Hello? Oh my goodness! I'm actually getting a text from Tom Brady right now. It's weird.
Tom
that he
Brady
was
is texting you on your phone.
Yeah.
Not Drew Brees.
He just thought that was a funny comment to say that he was 34. Tom Brady's older than that. Drew Brees is older than that.
Get your boy. Did you just
Joe Flacco?
Did you just equate both? Somebody come get both of them. Did you just equate Joe Flacco to Tom Brady?
Just in age. That's all.
yeah.
Yeah, nowhere near in talent.
Broncos were 6 and 10
Yeah.
last year.
Disappointing.
So,
6-10.
Jason, if the Broncos go 6-9-1, does that make them better than they were last year?
100%. Well said, champ. I kind of think the live stream was your idea too, just to let everybody know.
How mad you get at things. What?
Wow, you really turned on me in the first 22 minutes of this program, man.
24.
You know what? He
My
has threatened
goodness.
to walk out all week. This might be the day.
All right. I'll be back later.
It's time for Cody's going to walk out great. It's time for two great shows in one place. The Sacramento Boat and RV Show this Thursday through Sunday at Cal Expo. We got two great shows going on right now. We're on 1140 a.m. We're on the KHTK app. And we are live, the Lo-Down live on KHTK.com.
The Drive, The Lo-Down, Grant and Doug, and Game Night.
That's the play of this ball game thus far.
One place gives you the Sacramento Kings coverage you want and need.
Hammer time!
Sports 1140 KHTK is your home for the Sacramento Kings.
With over 20 years' experience as a workers' comp following announcement has been paid for by the champ.
World Fantasy Football Champion Christopher Laud. You've seen my 1-year reign make one of the greatest titles in the history of fantasy football, one of the most relevant titles in the world. I mean, I've become such a big deal. KGK built me this brand new video studio. But I do have one small problem. What's that saying? It's not the title that makes a man, it's the man that makes the title. Well, this title doesn't fit this man. This is where this title belongs. I want to introduce you to the brand new World Fantasy Football Championship. You see this? This is going to be with the champ forever. You weren't able to take that piece of crap away from me, but you're not going to be able to get this brand new World Fantasy Football Championship title out of my hands anytime soon. Ron, let's go.
McCall crossing over on Ferguson, across the paint, left to right, off the fadeaway 12, for a block by Ferguson. George the loose ball, big time rejection by the 20-year-old. Westbrook flashes right, Stephon Lillard lays it up and lays it in.
Cha-cha-cha to the Mardi Gras. I'm the dopest female.
Russell Westbrook, the Oklahoma City Radio Network right there with your play of the day. Play of the day brought to you by Sierra Pacific for this winter's best deal on a new furnace. Call Sierra Pacific right now at 800-551-3040. Just 2 NBA games last night. The Thunder beat the Portland Trailblazers. The Thunder sweep the Portland Trailblazers on the season. Dame Lillard goes for 50. His 5th career 50-point game. That is more than twice as many as any other player in Trailblazers history. Would you like to guess who is next on the list?
I don't know who that is.
You do know who it is. You just don't know that Jeff Petrie has
Geoff.
2 50-point. Not Clyde Drexler.
Nope.
Not Terry Porter. Jeff Petrie has 2 50-point games. Dame Lillard yesterday has his 5th, but it was all for nothing as Russell Westbrook and Paul George combined for 69 points.
Nice.
The 4th most points they've combined for as teammates. 3 of their 4 highest totals, by the way, have come in the last 3 weeks. But that was, as much as I love grinning about a great game from Russell Westbrook, they needed that so bad.
That was wildly entertaining. There was a lot going on at the end of that game. A game that even had a key moment from Scalaby Sierra.
Yeah, how about that?
That was bizarre.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was great. Former Kings have played a role here in the last couple of days over some games. But yeah, Thunder win. Bucks before that in the other TNT game. Giannis Antetokounmpo continues to be great. I mean, he's going to run away with the MVP award. I think he's going to run away with the MVP award. 29 points, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. His 24th game this season of 25-10 or 25-plus, 10-plus, and 5-plus.
Yeah, I mean, this race for that 3rd spot between them and OKC, Portland, and Houston is really good. Houston's the hottest team, but we always talk about matchups too. What is it about that matchup for Portland? I mean, OKC to sweep them this year is pretty significant, and we've seen other matchups throughout this year that have been problematic for certain teams. We know the Kings have no answer for the Clippers. Warriors have had trouble with the Rockets. There's just the Celtics and Sixers. You know, the Sixers can't handle them. So there's funny to see how sometimes 2 good teams, but one of them can have trouble with the other.
I got to get off this text line. There was too many people who were enjoying that opening segment way too much. If you want to be a part of the conversation, Jiffy Lube text line here at 441140. Of course, you can get us on the phone lines as well, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. I've never seen Damien this hurt. I've heard it, but not seen it. Man, that was great TV. Thanks a lot, guys.
On the radio.
Really, really appreciate that. Oh, Bennett's going to the Patriots. Yeah, we should mention that. We got that update there just a few moments ago. The Eagles are finalizing a trade to send former Pro Bowler defensive end Michael Bennett to the New England Patriots. And I'm sure he'll hit the fountain of youth and be ready to go next year.
Yeah, he keeps bouncing around a little bit. At one point was really an amazing player. He's still good, but it's not the same.
Beating up on Damien on the live feed sure seems to be a hit. Love it. What else do we... Oh, yeah, we were interrupted by a champ video. The live stream was
I didn't even know this was happening.
The live stream was interrupted by... What was that?
The brass has really been on me. They don't want these champ videos on the live stream, so I had to take some of my own measures into my own hands. So
very reminiscent of the New World Order.
Never heard of it.
Back to the text line here. It seems like Damien has a dilemma of which jersey he wants to buy next. A lame and overrated Russell Westbrook jersey or the sweet new Joe Flacco number 5 in orange and blue. You guys suck, man. What's Bagley's status? That's another question here. That's a good question.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything released. I mean, again, yesterday was a travel day. Today is a practice day.
Yeah.
But usually the Kings would release something if there was significant news, one way or the other. But again, it was 1 week to 2 weeks of reevaluation. We're now at 1 week. So I think it's still a day-to-day evaluation of him.
Yeah.
But no one said, oh, he's coming back on this road trip or he's playing when they return. There has not been a set time yet.
I wonder after the 1 week evaluation if we'll hear something today, given that the guys are practicing, because it's a very early game tomorrow, so there's not going to be a shoot around. Today's practice is essentially their shoot around, and they're going to get all of that stuff in line, which means any announcement, if we get any regarding Marvin Bagley, and I'm guessing because they put the reevaluation timeline at 1 to 2 weeks, they would at least tell us something, even if it's he's going to be reevaluated again next week, or he's going to be reevaluated after the road trip, or he's just going to be reevaluated later. I would imagine we get something, but well, what do I know? We mentioned the Bucks and the Pacers last night. Not a particularly impressive performance from the Pacers, who have been more than impressive this year, especially after they lost Victor Oladipo. But they're holding on to that third spot right now with Philadelphia coming up right behind them.
Yeah,
half a game behind, by the way.
And there's some tonight and this weekend. Actually, there's some good games for the NBA playoff race or just matchups. But last night, like you said, there was just the two. The best game certainly was Portland and OKC. That was fun. But this weekend, even tonight, Warriors and Nuggets. I mean, there's some good matchups.
The Nuggets can pull even.
They can. Everything goes right.
Yeah, the Nuggets can pull even for the top of the Western Conference. I think there's a conversation to be had about that, which we will coming up here in about 10 minutes. We just mentioned Philadelphia. Joel Embiid is not going to play tonight. They're going to be taking on the Houston Rockets in Houston. I found it a couple of founded, because that's a word here. Just on the live stream.
Yeah.
I found an interesting stat regarding Chris Paul and James Harden. We know how great James Harden has been. He really took over when Clint Capella and Chris Paul went out. He averaged, and this is insane, in the 7 games that both Clint Capella and Chris Paul missed, the Rockets went 5-2. He averaged 48.4 points per game. And Chris Paul has come back and has been we noted his brutal shooting night the other night, but his efficiency on the court has been incredible. I know we pointed out, I think he was like 1 of 10 from the field. He still had 10 assists in that game. Mm-hmm. He's still making that offense flow. The team is obviously this is not a hot take. The Rockets are better when all three of those guys play.
Right.
I think they're 20-9. They're 20-9 in those games, and since returning to the lineup on January 27th, Chris Paul has been. It's a plus 17 per 100 possessions when he's on the floor. This is whether it doesn't matter who's playing. They're plus 17. Even if James Harden is playing, but he's off the floor. When Harden is on the floor without Chris Paul in a game that Chris Paul is playing in, their offense is minus 3.6.
Wow.
That's it, and all I'm doing, all I'm saying to point that out is how valuable Chris Paul is to that offense and how valuable he is to winning a championship, because James Harden scoring a lot of points is fun during the regular season. Does anybody think him averaging, even if we win extreme and said 48.4 points per game in a playoff series or multiple, not healthy, it's not going to work.
Right.
It's not going to work at least for multiple playoff series. It might work for the first one. I doubt it's going to work for the second one. I certainly don't think it would work for the Western Conference Finals.
I know I give you grief about the triple-double stat, but for him, like that's, I think if he can get close to that number, and the points, even an off night for James Harden was what, 22 points, 24 points? So if he's closer
to a really off night for
if
him.
he's closer to a triple-double night, and it doesn't have to be 50, 10, and 10, but 25, 28, 10, and 10, that's, to me, is the best version of that team. And what's interesting about the Rockets, I feel like the Rockets are similar in our conversations about them that we say about the Warriors, but in opposite spectrums, meaning that the Warriors could lose the rest of the season, like lose out for some reason, and we go, well, still the champs. Like, does anybody really think they won't do it?
Yeah.
The Rockets could win out and go, yeah, great. Wow, they caught the Warriors, but until I see Chris Paul stay healthy, until I see James Harden win a Game 7 on the road, if that's what it takes, or wherever it is, they can't. I don't know that either team can do enough damage, meaning the Warriors, or enough amazing things, meaning the Rockets, now to wow enough people or to change people's mind on them.
And isn't that the feeling also with the Toronto Raptors?
Yeah, I would say so.
The exact same feeling. Like, oh, cool, they won the East.
And maybe just because they changed with Kawhi, that might be the one dynamic it's like it's not the exact same team, even though it's very similar, but they added what everybody would think is the best player of any team they've had.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
But I don't feel like the narrative is different. I feel like we've been talking about the Toronto Raptors the same way all year. And even when Toronto was at the top of the Western Conference, top of the Eastern Conference, it was okay.
Yeah.
Well, now, like it doesn't matter. Now that the Bucks are, it's like, boy, look at those Milwaukee Bucks, man. They're good. Watch out for them coming to the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
Well,
they've
the
been out
Raptors
of
are
a
right
round.
there.
Yeah, the Raptors have been to conference finals and been to round twos, and the Bucks haven't. But yet they get the benefit. And plus, LeBron's gone. Like that part of the equation, it will be different. Mm-hmm. You don't have to go through LeBron James in the East. So whether that's Toronto, Indiana, Milwaukee, Boston, Philly, it will be somebody new for sure.
But there is a far deeper slate of basketball games tonight than there was last night. We mentioned the Philadelphia and Houston game. That'll be a fun one. Toronto and New Orleans. New Orleans has actually played pretty well as of late. We're going to talk about Denver and Golden State here in just a little bit. And oh, by the way, for everybody who was laughing and laughs when I get hype over Russell Westbrook, guess who's Russell Westbrook fans tonight?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All of y'all are Russell Westbrook fans tonight.
Quadruple-double.
You're all fans of the Oklahoma City Thunder tonight because they're in Los Angeles taking on the Clippers.
Yeah. Again, I still think that's a team you can't catch, but let's see if you can, right? I mean, a loss tonight, if the Kings win tomorrow, you go, all right, it's a little bit closer. You just have to work all angles. I mean, I think the Spurs are the more logical one, but hey, I'm not going to be mad if the door's left open because the Clippers start to lose a few.
Sure. Well, yeah, I actually thought I had made a mistake yesterday when I was trying to research, like, hey, the scoreboard, here's what we need to watch headed into the weekend. San Antonio doesn't play tonight, and tell me I'm crazy. They don't play tomorrow either, do they?
No, I think it's Sunday.
So have they been off since Wednesday?
When
they beat the Hawks?
Game? Yeah.
Wow, you don't see that long of a break in this late in the regular season.
Yeah.
And they're probably at home. I don't know. Oh, boy. They got the Bucks on Sunday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they've played 2 more games than the Kings, so that's, Kings have got to catch up a little bit, and they will. It's just a matter of time, but yeah, I mean, this weekend, to me, needs to end for the Kings, most importantly with a win tomorrow. If you get some help tonight from the Thunder and you get some help from the Bucks, all right, Monday we're talking about a race that's just a little bit closer.
Yeah, absolutely. But who's going to be on top of the Western Conference if that race gets closer? Well, it's the Warriors and the Nuggets tonight. We'll talk about that next.
Also, check us out on social media. If you want to find me, you can follow me at Codi Baylor, Jason at Jason Ross 1140, Damien at Damien Barling, and Chris at the Champ KHDK. Also, look us up on Facebook and search The Lo-Down. Damien and Jason, back to you.
Thanks, Cody. Real quick, Sports Illustrated writer Dan Jenkins passed away yesterday. Sports Illustrated, Golf Digest. I know maybe you've certainly have read his writing. You might not be super familiar with the name, but we want to send our love to the Jenkins family because Dan Jenkins is the father of regular Lo-Down guest Sally Jenkins, who works for the Washington Post. So we want to send our love to Sally and her family. And Dan was an incredible writer. You can do yourself a favor If you're killing time today after the live stream is over, head over to Sports Illustrated. They have a collection of some of his greatest pieces of work. He's had some misses, most notably the Tiger Woods mock interview during the Tiger stuff for Golf Digest, which Tiger was really, really angry about, which goes to show you the power that Dan Jenkins had as a writer. But there's some great stuff over there on Sports Illustrated, so go over and check that out. And again, we're sending our love to our friend and frequent guest here, Sally Jenkins. It's time to call Sierra Pacific now for this winter's best deal on a new furnace. Call Sierra Pacific now, 800-551-3040. You want to get in on these phone lines, you can, 339-1140, 1-800-920-1140. The text line is, well, they're having some fun today. They got them Friday feels, the Jiffy Lube text line at 44-1140. And, of course, you can watch us live over on KHTK.com. It is the Lo-Down Live every single Friday over on KHTK.com. No Sacramento Kings basketball last night. No Sacramento Kings basketball tonight. No Sacramento Kings news or notes. No Antonio Brown news or notes, other than if you went to bed thinking he was a member of the Buffalo Bills, you woke up finding out that he is not. We will talk about NFL free agency coming up at 1 o'clock. David Irving of the Dallas Cowboys, I don't want to say he retired. He quit.
Right, he's done.
He just said, I'm done playing football. You'll hear what he had to say, and it's an opportunity for us to bring back a topic, a conversation that we didn't quite get to yesterday. We had mentioned it. We've talked a little bit about it this week, but we really haven't had a chance to deal with it or really dive into it, and that is the NFL and really sports leagues' approach to handling marijuana. So you'll hear what David Irving said, and you'll hear our thoughts, especially after a recent article came out on ESPN.com about how the NHL handles marijuana drug testing. So we'll talk about NFL free agency as well. You heard us mention here at the top of the show when we were talking about Antonio Brown how much money the Indianapolis Colts have and what an opportunity they have to be major players in free agency this year. The San Francisco 49ers have quite a bit. The Oakland Raiders have quite a bit. We'll talk about that at 1 o'clock. But, Jason, you had mentioned this just a few moments ago. The Nuggets and the Warriors are tonight, and the Nuggets have a chance to pull even on top of the Western Conference.
Yeah, this is, we're so engrossed in what the Kings are doing, who they have left, how many games, what do they need to have happen. Well, the Nuggets have spent the last 2 years fighting to get to the playoffs and just missed. We keep talking about last year's Game 82 losing in overtime. That got Minnesota in, ending their drought. But the Nuggets have been on a drought a little bit as well. Not as long, but now they've been as high as 1. They haven't really ever been really that low in the standings, but they're within 1 of the Warriors. They've played them twice this year. They still play them tonight and one more time, both at Oracle. But they beat them early, very, very early in the season, and then their last game is kind of a, I say, famous one for the regular season when the Warriors lit them up, had that 51-point first quarter in Denver. So I don't know that either team's playing great right now, and so I think there's going to be a little bit of an edge to it because the Warriors, their last game, Boston handed it to them. Most good teams, when you get embarrassed like that, you come out and respond, and Denver really needs this game. I think this is going to be played at a really high level tonight.
Here's a couple of odd stats for you. You talked about the Warriors and the way they're playing. They're 3-5 in their last 8 games, which is a really odd stat for the Warriors. Perhaps even odder, 24% of the shots Golden State has allowed since February 13th have been uncontested. That is the 3rd highest percentage in the league over that time span. The teams with the worst percentages when it comes to contesting shots are the Nets at 25%, the 76ers at 24.2%, the Warriors at 24%. All 3 of those teams are playoff teams.
Yeah, that's interesting.
And then the Sacramento Kings at 23.8%.
Okay.
That's such an odd stat to me that the Nets, 76ers, and Warriors, all 3 teams are playoff teams, are having the most trouble contesting shots.
Yeah, well, and then you gave that data. I was actually just looking at that on their kind of game log of what's gone on here in their last, 3-5 that you said. Here's the points they've allowed: 129, 123, 119, 110, 126, 103, 117, and 128.
Does that include that includes the Kings game, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's a win.
They won that one.
123, though, to the Kings.
Yeah.
And their lowest one they gave up was 103 to Orlando, but they lost. Only scored 96.
Kings fans don't need to hear this, but you often hear the term, everything's got to go through Shaq. Everything's got to go through ...
LeBron.
Right.
Yeah, in the East, yeah.
Everything goes through Nikolai Jokic. everything, and the numbers support it, as the dude touches the ball 94 times per game.
Yeah.
On average, he touches the ball 94 times per game.
I like their team a lot, their depth and all of that. He, though, is a problem on defense. He's a big problem for their long-term success. He can do so much offensively. He doesn't guard well at all.
You know, because we've had that conversation before, would Bogut have been a smart pickup for them? Not that they could have. I'm not saying, they should have just gone and signed Andrew Bogut. Obviously, it's not that simple. Should they have pursued, if they didn't, would that matchup have made sense? The Denver Nuggets and Andrew Bogut, because he's a better defending big man than
not a bad idea.
Jokic is.
Yeah, I mean, it would have made some sense. I know they play Plumlee some. They'll use Millsap and go smaller. But, I actually like that idea for them.
Because the belief is that's why Golden State did it.
Right.
Golden State did it
to protect
defensively.
DeMarcus a little bit, too, and more big depth. They had some injuries.
Or to protect themselves against DeMarcus,
right.
one way or the other.
Yeah, and they will play, at some point, Steven Adams or Nurkic or Jokic or we've joked about it before, but is that Bagley? Is that Willie? I mean, if they face the Kings, I mean, there's some bigs that they're going to have to answer to if the Kings make it as an 8 seed or a 7 seed.
Did you see the clip of Russell Westbrook last night messing with the crowd doing the thing when he's on the sideline? Did you happen to look over his shoulder? He's on the sideline. There's Steven Adams. I think he's on a stationary bike.
Okay.
And I'm quite confident that Steven Adams knows where everybody.
Oh my gosh!
Doesn't he look like? Right.
I got you, Russ. Just do what you need to do. I will protect you.
Sorry
Good thing
for
he's
those
on
who
his
had to
team.
hear Reggie Miller there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, dude. Oh, dude. Steven Adams. I feel like Steven Adams is every villain in every movie ever.
Yeah.
Like he is the muscle in every movie ever.
So here's the question about those two. If they ever get separated, Westbrook's on another team or Adams is on another team at some point, generally happens in the NBA. Are they boys or is it like, no, I never liked that guy?
I think they're boys.
Okay.
Except when they're on the floor together.
Right. That, but I mean, I don't know.
I don't think they can be separated though. I think Russ needs Steven Adams more than he needs anybody.
And honestly, if you watch Adams, he's scary as can be. He's not an instigator. Russ is.
Oh no, he's not.
Adams is a peacemaker.
He's the great. He seems like just the chillest guy in the world. That's because no one ever messes with him.
Right. And he doesn't really. I can't say he doesn't want to get in. He just like, yeah, whatever.
No, I don't think he does because he knows he'll murder you.
Yeah.
That's what it is. You look in those eyes, man. He's going to take somebody out.
I died a little bit. Yeah.
The only way we could really get the answer is if we talk to Steven.
That's a great point. We have got to talk to Steven. We'll step out. We are come back. We are on the live stream at KHTK.com. We're going to talk about the NFL. We're going to talk about free agency. It is Antonio Brown Day. What that means, I don't really know. But it's the self-imposed Antonio Brown Day from the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we've got a lot of NFL stuff coming up next.